The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com.
Amber, you have a little brother who is becoming a little bit of a super brat?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, tell me what's going. How old is he?
He's 12 years old, and he's usually good with people, but however, sometimes when he gets really angry, he gets really hyper and even like pushes someone away, and he doesn't accept other people's point of view very easily, and he gets very stubborn with anything that he wants to get stubborn with. Like if we tell him, okay, we're going to get you a PSP, he'd be after that for weeks until we actually go through with it.
So he nags.
So I was just really worried about this kind of behavior so it doesn't lead to like a worse cause.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get your point of view on it.
And you're how old, Amber?
I'm 22.
You're 22, so there's a 10-year span between you, and you're watching. When you observe your parents, is there anything you're noticing that you would like to tweak that they're not doing right, that if you were the parent you would do something differently?
Let me just think about it. I don't know. Well, obviously, with every family, there's different kind of things that they contradict on, right? Like there could be certain arguments, but that's natural. But I don't think there's anything major that my parents are doing incorrectly regarding his upbringing. I really don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay, so and is he the only kid besides you?
No, I'm his older sister, and we have a brother in between us.
Okay, how old is the brother?
He's about 18.
He's about 18 years old. So what you're saying is that there are times when your brother, your 12-year-old brother, is good with people, but then something can set him off, and you want to look for those triggers. What is it that sets him off? What are his insecurities? What are his vulnerabilities? What makes him go on a rampage or become the super brat? Any idea?
Okay, well,
yeah.
Sometimes when you don't listen to him or accept, like if he wants to buy something, right, and we tell him we can't afford it, or there's any other kind of issues, he gets upset with that. And also, I noticed one thing in him: he's very fearful of certain things, like sleeping alone in the dark, or walking in the corridor all alone. He wants someone to watch him while he's doing those kind of things, because he feels some kind of fear. And we always tell him he should be brave, and it's not a big deal.
Okay,
and God is always watching you.
Okay, if he's afraid of being alone, as a detective, a psychological detective, and as a loving sister, if he would ever let down his guard and tell you the stories, there are definitely stories behind that, Amber. When I had fears of someone breaking in my window, I saw a movie or I heard a news broadcast, and it made me fearful when I was a kid. And I would check under my bed for the boogeyman. I mean, who didn't? Check in the closet. But there are a whole range of possibilities as to why someone would be afraid to do anything alone. And in the worst case scenario, someone may have been a victim of abuse. And very often, believe it or not, it could be a family member that, an uncle or somebody. Now, that may not be the case in your situation at all, but abuse does awful things to kids. This is worst case scenario now, because they're afraid to speak up. The abuser has either threatened them or bribed them. I'll give you a gift if you don't speak up, or threatened them. Or maybe they heard, again, they could have just seen a movie that scared them. It could have even been a video game that scared them. And they're afraid to go out alone. Until you get to the actual details, the richness of what's in your young brother's mind, if he would let you go there, you won't understand his fear, and you won't be able to just paste over it by saying anything like, be brave, because you don't know what he's fighting in his mind. There's some thought content there, or God's always watching you. Kids say, huh? Well, if he's always watching me, why didn't he watch this other person? They got hurt. Raises a lot of questions. So what I recommend...
Hey, I got to interrupt this because we've got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, that's it. A very quick ad, and then Alan will be back.
Romance. I wish I knew more about what girls want from a relationship. Boy, I wish I knew more about what I want. Where's that ad I saw? Here it is. The Selfish Path to Romance, a serious romance guidebook. Download Chapter 1 for free at selfishromance.com and buy it at amazon.com. The selfish path to romance. That is interesting.
So what I recommend, if you have a decent relationship with him, hon?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So do you think he would open up to you? And if you just said to him...
Yeah, he does. He usually, if there's anything going on, he'd come and talk to me about it in school. And he'd be like, and then I'd discuss it with my parents. I'm kind of like the go-to person for him.
That's wonderful. Has he come to you and talked to you about why he's fearful of being alone?
No, usually it's worse if he's seen a movie, yes, like you said. But, it's the little things, he'd come up to me and he'd be like, I ate this, am I going to die? Or, it's like the little things. He's very sensitive, I guess.
Okay, so he's collecting a lot of fears. He doesn't know. He needs information. It sounds like, am I going to die? Honey, what would make you feel like that you're going to die? And he may say, because I saw a movie, or because, Grandpa ate it and he died afterwards or something. If somebody might have had a heart attack, but he doesn't know that. So, that's going after what specifically is going through his mind that makes him fearful of dying if he eats something in particular. It could have been that he watched a cartoon where they poisoned some food or something, or read a child's book that had that type of a theme. So, again, it's drawing him out. There's a skill where you want to help a person feel comfortable enough without talking them out of their fear. Let them explain their fear first, and then let them talk themselves out of their fear. So that's that. In terms of his fears, that's what I would recommend. In terms of his acting out, getting angry, pushing people away, being stubborn or nagging, he needs really firm, consistent parenting there. You're afraid that he's going to end up in becoming a super brat, but a grown-up super brat, right? He's got this entitlement attitude. He needs to learn self-respect, that things aren't owed him, but not in a preachy, lectury way. He needs to know that he can earn things. Like when my daughter was young, she really wanted a bike. She went to a private school, and all of the kids were wealthy, and they had private bikes. Well, I didn't want her just to get a bike. They all had their brand new bikes. So we went to a secondhand shop, and she picked out a bike. It was $10, and she earned the money for that, and she earned so much pride that it helped her get rid of that, and she never had that entitlement attitude. That idea of feeling good about yourself is so helpful. So I would recommend that for you. There's also the very good parenting books, How to Talk So Kids Would Listen, that you could get on my website. Listen, thank you so much for your call, Amber.
No problem. Thank you.
I wish you the best.
And here's a little more from Dr. Kenner.
You were sitting at a table with two boys. I thought we understood no dates.
What do you mean, no dates? They just sat down at our table.
I don't want you around them. They're nasty-minded boys. I told you no dates.
It wasn't a date.
It was a date.
It wasn't a date.
It was a date, Lolita.
It was not a date.
It was a date.
It wasn't a date.
Well, whatever it was that you had yesterday afternoon, I don't want you to have it again.
That's so cute. That's from Lolita, and you can picture your own childhood. Did you just do whatever your parents said? Okay, I will never be around boys again, Mom and Dad, while I'm here or for the next year or whatever it is. Or were you the one that snuck out the window in the middle of the night to meet a guy? Or were your parents much more laid back? They weren't trying to overparent. They trusted you, let you date. You made a few mistakes, but nothing that was major, and you learned and you grew and you built a better relationship with your parents too. It is so hard for parents to go through the teenage years with their kids. I mean, it's hard on kids obviously too, but it's hard for parents because they're very fearful. Oh my God, what if my son gets that girl pregnant? Or what if they go drinking? Or what if they get in with the wrong crowd? All of these fears can flood a parent's mind. How do you deal with that situation, whether you're the kid or the parent?
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner and Dr. Edwin Locke.
Partners should not let children undermine their romantic relationship. Michelle Weiner Davis writes, quote, "One of the biggest mistakes I see women make in their marriages is that once the children are born, they forget they have husbands," unquote. Tending to your romantic relationship requires that you plan time alone without the children. There are several options here, such as romance when the kids are asleep, on weekends when the kids are doing things with their friends or staying with relatives, and during short romantic getaways. While children require and deserve a great deal of care and attention, so too does your intimate partner. Don't forget that your partner is your top social value.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com. And you can buy The Selfish Path to Romance at amazon.com.